Hello, this is Amin, and you are watching session 28 of ASP.NET Core. In this session, we are going to talk HTML helper. Also, we discuss about HTML helper in some future sessions. In this session, we review text box, label, drop-down list, and text area HTML helper. HTML helpers are generally classes that can generate HTML tag in Razor View pages. We have some benefit of using HTML helper instead of using pure tags, HTML tags. First benefit of using HTML helper is the Razor View page would be more clear and readability of Razor View page would be more than the time that we use regular HTML tag. Also, the HTML helpers classes has some overloaded that we can use for view status. Also, validation in MVC with HTML helper are more easier than when we use regular HTML tag. Also, binding between ViewBag and ViewData and HTML helper are easier than the type that we use regular HTML tag. Also, we can make some custom helper that meet our requirements. There is some pure tags, same as labels, input, text area, and in this session, we will create a form to submit data to our controller with HTML helper instead of pure tags. Let's flip to Visual Studio and implement our view with HTML helper. This is the project that we have been working so far throughout this session, and I'm going to create one more action method for creating a new cast record. For this purpose, I create the action method with result of action results, and I call it create, and it return a view. Also, for storing data, I need one view model which should has the properties of cast except ID, because when I submit the data to create new cast record, I don't need ID anymore. That's why I copy the properties of a cast model and create one more view model inside the view models folder, and I call it create cast view model, and use these properties inside this one. Let me save the changes of create cast view model, and then I should create one view inside cast subfolder into views folder, and I use views and Razor view empty, and I call it create. It should be the same name as the action method name is, and the model directive should be create cast view model. And also, same as other views, I should pass ViewBag title to the layout file to reflect the name of this view in top of the browser, and I call it create new cast record. Generally, I'm going to create a view to collect the required information of creating new cast record, and it should be look like this page. As you can see, it has some fields for amount, date, category, and comment. The form has some labels and also some text box and a drop-down list and a text area for enter the comment, which may has more lines than other fields. For this purpose, I should use HTML helper for label, for text box, for text area, and also for drop-down list. First of all, I need a form tag to collect the data. Also, I should mention that we have one HTML helper for forms, but in this session, I'm going to use this HTML form tag instead of HTML helper for form. And when I want to use HTML helper, I should use @HTML. And after that, with the IntelliSense, I have list of classes inside HTML class. And here I use label. If you look at the overloaded, it has some overloaded version with a string expression or with expression and label text. And also I can use some HTML attribute inside this one. And here I should use name of amount because this label should be connected to amount text box and its label is amount. And also I can use HTML attribute, but I will use it later. And also I will have another HTML class with name of text box, and text box has expression that should be amount and also value that I want to be empty. And also I can use format and also HTML attribute. But now I leave it in this situation, and I will add another HTML tag helper for date and one text box to enter the date of the cost that we want to enter. And also one HTML helper with label for comment, and it should be comment, and one text area for entering the comments, and the expression is comment, and the value is empty. Let's save the project and run it. Let me go to the cast and create action method. And as you can see, I have my labels and my text box. The style is not proper yet, but I will talk about styling with Bootstrap later. Let me check the view page source. And as you can see inside the form, instead of the HTML helper, I have the regular and pure HTML tags with label input. And as you can see, the expression is changed to ID and name, and type is text and value is empty. Let's back to Visual Studio and continue to creating our form. As you can see, if I enter a value inside this box, I will have it as value of this text box in the rendered page. Let's prove this fact by running the project once more. As you can see, inside this box, the default value is mentioned as a name. And let's back to Visual Studio and continue with the drop-down list. Now I want to add my drop-down list for the category of the cost that I want to submit the data. First, let me add its label. And then I use HTML.dropdownList. The expression should be exactly the same as the expression I entered here. and then I should enter the option of this drop-down list. The options should be enumerable item. That's why I create a new list, and the item of the list should be select list item, and inside this list I can create my options of the list. It has a text, the text that is the value that I can see. Item of grocery, and the value is the item that is back to the form. Now I set both as the same name, but here just I use the small character. And also I have another item is selected. If the selected is the Boolean item, if I set selected to true, this item is the default item. And also I will add 3 more category for my application for bill information, and also the category that I need. And I can just set one of them to true. And the next select list item is for another category that I call it for rent. Here I should use comma. And now I have my drop-down list. Also, I can add one option label here. Option label is the phrase that when user don't want to select any option of this list, select that option. It doesn't have any value. And let me save it and run the project once more. Let me go to cast create. And you can see I have the drop-down list as well. Let's back to Visual Studio and continue to work with the HTML helpers. Here, if I want to add some attribute to my label, I can use the HTML attribute. I create a null variable, and here I use a style. And I can add any style that I want, but here I use color, and I set color to red, and we can see when we save it and run the project, we can see the label color will change to red. Let me save it and run the project once more. As you can see, the style is implemented, and the style is affect the label, and the color of the label is changed to red. And also I want to use read-only attribute for this text box. Also, I can use another attribute which is read-only for this text box. As you can see, as long as I type read-only, as read-only is a reserved keyword, its color changed to blue. And for reserved keyword, I should use @ before that one. And I set this attribute to true, and let me save the project and run it and see the result. As you can see, I changed the behavior of this text box to read-only, as I set its attribute read-only to true. Also, I can use class attribute for all HTML helper. For this purpose, inside this null variable that I created, I can use @ class, and inside these double quotation after equal mark, I can use the CSS classes. Let me do some changes to these forms and make the form more stylish with Bootstrap classes. As we don't have time to show you all the classes of Bootstrap, I already added some classes of Bootstrap to this form and make it more stylish. Let me copy the changes which has some CSS classes, and save the project and see the result with the Bootstrap classes. As you can see, I just add some Bootstrap classes to the HTML helper. And as I mentioned, if you are not familiar with Bootstrap, you can check getbootstrap.com website. And the rest is the classes of the Bootstrap, and just I add some classes of Bootstrap to my create view to make it more stylish. Let me save the changes and run the project once more and go to the cast create class. As you can see, the classes changed the style of my form, and I have my create cast record form with the Bootstrap classes. And we can see the result of this page in view page source. And as you can see, I have some CSS classes in my label, in my select, and also in my text box and text area. That's it in this session. And in this session, we create a form with HTML helper, with Dropdown List HTML helper, with text box HTML helper, with label HTML helper, and also with text area HTML helper. In upcoming session, we will work with the rest of HTML helper, and we'll show you the functionality of the rest of HTML helper. Thank you for watching us. Don't forget to follow us on our social media, that their link are available in our website. And also the code of this session is available in our website. Once more, thank you for being with us.